Oh man, I hate Mondays.
Nah, man, it's Tuesday.
Wait. What day is it?
You know what day it is? Tuesday. Brewsday Tuesday.
Oh, fuck yeah. Grab a cold one. It's Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar and Six Pack Store. Here's DreZ.
Yours is a little easier. Yours is actual a bottle opener. Mine is a knife, a pocket knife. It is Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store in downtown Blacksburg. We just popped some tops. I'm going to show that one right there. I got the little smutty nose from New Hampshire. And these are, so this show is going to be all about the bottle caps that are on the map behind me. If you're watching on Facebook Live or YouTube, BB, you got this for me. I don't know. I guess it was how many Christmases
Years
ago?
ago,
4 or
yeah.
5 Christmases ago.
I think it was when I was trying to coax you into traveling more.
Well,
I was like,
it's worked pretty damn well. We've been to a lot of states, and I mean, at this point, I did the math. I think I have nine bottle caps remaining of 9 different states. So the rule with my rule of thumb when it comes to the bottle cap map, which basically it's a map of the U.S. Well, obviously, it's got all the states on there. The states, unfortunately, especially the ones we've been hitting, there's not a room for a bottle cap to fit there because there are these tiny little states up in New England. So I'm having to put them, like the one that you just popped from the shed is over here, basically in Montana. But I've tried to get it, it's about equal horizontal, or is that longitude? Is that longitude or latitude? I don't know. But my rule of thumb was you have to you try and get a bottle cap from the state and you have to drink it in the state. So we've been doing pretty good with that this trip. I've knocked out and got numerous bottle caps. So that's what this show is focusing on. And I've got more bottle caps than, our typical Brewsday Tuesday, we drink 4 beers. So 2 rounds of a different beer each, but I've gotten even more than that. However, a lot of these ones, well, not all of them. The one you just popped, not the case. But sometimes you have to buy a whole 6-pack in order to get the bottle cap that you want, which was the case for Smutty Nose, which was the finest kind IPA. I wasn't so upset grabbing this one, though, because if you are watching on the Facebook Live or the YouTube, it also works out well because there's even a little camper on this guy. It's the Indian Pale Ale coming at 6.9%, giggity. And obviously, this is brewed in New Hampshire, particularly Hampton, New Hampshire, which we didn't actually go to Hampton, but we were in the state. And like all New England states, they're pretty small. So we were probably pretty damn close to this brewery, no doubt about it. And you just popped what you got over there from the shed?
I have the Mountain Ale by Shed Brewery. It says that it's a local legend steeped in Vermont lore. So it's a rugged brown ale, and it's coming in at a 7.4%. So
oh, that's a hardy one.
I'm beating you here.
I didn't realize that was such a high ABV on that one.
Yeah, and it has a 35 IBUs, whatever that means.
We actually were just talking about this earlier. International Bitters Unit, if I'm not mistaken.
So I probably want
if it's a bit bitter.
Oh, I like sour, not bitter. Actually, that's it. That's a different thing.
Yeah, I guess it is a little different.
But it also says here, born in Stowe, raised in Vermont, enjoyed throughout the world. The Shed Brewery.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So full disclosure, that was not the Vermont bottle cap I had in mind. I planned on getting Long Trail because, with the bottle caps, ideally it'll say the state on the bottle cap, or, it'll be something state related that'll be, you can look at it and easily see, oh, that's this state, that's that state. Case in point, if I look over to my right, my New Mexico one, I can't remember what brewery it is, but it's an alien on it because it was like near Roswell. If you look at, like Tennessee, it says Tennessee, but it's orange. It's got a guitar on it, an acoustic guitar. Obviously my Texas one, Community, it's got the shape of Texas on there. So you kind of go for that. And Long Trail, I liked it because I know that there are a lot of lots of hiking and trails in Vermont. That's what they're known for, the Long Trail. So I was planning on getting that one, but man, at that stage, and this was just this, I guess, late last week, our fridge full of beer. So I couldn't justify buying another 6-pack. And frankly, really the best option would have been a variety 12-pack of the Long Trail. But I just, there's not room in our fridge. I mean, I bet I could make it fit, but you would not have been happy if I came back with
No.
12 bottles of beer that needed to stay cold. Because I am a sucker for that. You know, if it's cold beer, it needs to stay cold.
Yeah,
So
it's a shame because supermarkets, all their beer is cold. Whereas I know like some specialty beer stores will sell their beers warm because they understand this. Keep it cold, has to be cold kind of thing.
how it's actually supposed to be done.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on the beer, but in theory, you probably should keep them cold. So I just kept striking out. But when we were in Vermont, believe it or not, I went to a couple beer stores and finally found some that you were able to make, you know, you could just grab singles, and people were breaking up not only like 4-packs of, you know, craft beers, which I'm used to seeing that, you know, back in Blacksburg at the cellar and stuff, but people were grabbing singles out of like 6-packs of, you know, Coors Light or whatever. So I was like, oh man, hopefully they have a 6-pack of Long Trail, but they didn't. They had a 12-pack, and they said, you know, we can individually sell everything as long as it's not in cardboard, and that would be cardboard. So I did find a couple of the Shed beers at another convenience store. There was same deal, like just 6-packs, and somebody had grabbed a couple out of one of them, so I grabbed that one, grabbed the IPA to drink in the actual state because we're no longer in Vermont, but I had to have that one, and then I brought this one because I wanted one for the show. So the brown ale I actually haven't had yet, so I'm curious to try that. But if you look at the cap, I'm not too upset with it because it basically has some trees, which Vermont has a crap ton of trees. Everywhere you were looking, it was just trees galore, and then a beer between them. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if that's, I haven't really inspected it closely. Is it in a shed or anything? I don't know.
No, just the beer
Just a
between
beer.
2 trees.
Beer and a couple trees. I'll accept it. That works good for a bottle cap for me in Vermont. So one thing that I know that we wanted to talk about Vermont because, you know, we did go to Alchemist and Stowe, which that did mention Stowe. I guess the Shed was what's that, founded there. So maybe they're not even brewing there anymore. I'm not sure, but that was the main highlight and mecca of a brewery, which I got a lot of beer there. That's going to be a show, a different show for down the road. We'll do an Alchemist Brewsday Tuesday. But for the pilgrimage out to the Alchemist, one of the things we wanted to do was get a good base before we hit all these breweries. And so you had the great idea of, and I don't know, I guess you just had a hankering for a Chinese buffet, which I don't think I've ever been to a Chinese buffet with you. I don't know what brought that on, but you were like, let's do a Chinese buffet.
I have not myself been to a Chinese buffet for probably 20 years. We'd been seeing a lot of Chinese restaurants up here. Like, you know, you go to a little town and there seem to be at least 2 Chinese restaurants, like in every place. So I feel that Chinese food is appreciated up here. And I just was like, I really just fancy a Chinese buffet. You know, I love buffets. You go in, you can try like a little bit of everything. Obviously, you don't need to eat anything else for the rest of the day because you can just stuff yourself.
Yeah, and you don't have to feel bad about, you know, having a good big meal if that's going to be the one you drink, and then you start drinking after that. So,
and sometimes I feel it even can curb your drinking because if you're full enough, like you didn't even drink that much because you physically can't.
right. So I do a little research. I'm usually the one that tries to pick out the meals and whatnot. So we were staying in Bar at the time, and there was one in Bar, but it didn't have the best, ratings. Shocker, a Chinese buffet that doesn't have amazing ratings on, Yelp and Google or whatever. But I found one in Montpelier, which is the state capital, which we weren't, 15 minutes away. So I was like, okay, well, let's go there. House of Yang.
House of Tang.
Tang?
House of Tang.
Tang.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. House of Tang. And so we go there, and I remember one of the things they were saying was parking was tough, which it did seem like a small parking lot, but there was enough spaces we were able to swing in and park. And we stroll in, and it looked like they were renovating. And by renovating, I mean rebuilding, probably, because in Vermont, I don't know if you heard, but I guess at this point it's been probably like 3 weeks ago. There was just some massive, crazy flooding, and a lot of stuff just got destroyed. I mean, the roads were really bad. We went through numerous roads that were terrible, and yeah, so I guess it shouldn't have come a surprise that that store was not open. So we're like, okay, well, it'll be backtracking, but we'll go back to bar and hit that China buffet. Same story. Closed. That whole, in fact, that was in like a strip mall, and it was the whole entire thing
strip
was
mall's
blocked off.
gone,
You
yeah.
couldn't even go into the parking lot because they're like, no,
We're
it's not
renovating.
happening.
Yeah.
So back to the drawing board, and that's when you decided to. I was like, all right, well, let's just start heading towards the Alchemist, and you could see if you can find us a place to eat, and that's what you did.
Yeah. So at this point, I was ravenous and a little bit grumpy that DreZ had not phoned ahead to check. I was like, why didn't you reserve a table? It's my usual thing.
Well, you know what's funny is because I struck out on the place that that was my idea, the House of Tang. Then we drive to the other one, and I was like, "Oh, are you going to call to make sure that they're open?" You tried;
I
they
call.
didn't answer.
They didn't answer.
And guess what? That's the same thing we would have done, because not everybody answers. You still just go. You hope Google says that they're open.
You just
But-
hope and pray. But
Yeah.
no, but luckily we have another app called Get Upside, which we use a lot when traveling, that has great gas deals and sometimes
Mainly use
deals
it for
at
gas, but food
grocery
they got-
store deals, and also some restaurants.
Mhm.
The one that we use in Radford quite regularly is
Benny's.
Benny's.
Yeah, get
Yeah,
the
I
upside.
love
I feel like we should post a link, because I know you get like kind of
Oh yeah,
discounts or
use our
whatever.
referral code,
Yeah,
please.
we don't have a referral code, whatever. I guess we could try and post it or whatever. But yeah, Benny's usually get like what, 10% off or something at
Yeah,
Benny's in
something like
Radford,
that.
and that's
Uh-huh.
pretty regular. That's pretty solid.
Mhm.
So if you
So
want,
I was
if you want
checking
one of those.
about seeing if there was anything en route, and there just happened to be this blackback pub that was perfectly en route. It was an 18% cashback. So I started to have a look at the menu, and come with it was all this Asian food and a huge beer menu. So I was like, oh, well, I think this is going to suit both of our needs.
So you saw the beer menu online too?
I mean, I seen it. I didn't look at it or really know if it was good. I just seen that there was a lot of beer on there that wasn't Bud Light or Coors or, the ones that you're not that interested in. So
No places post that on their menu online. Yeah, you're not going to advertise that online. So either way, what a blessing in disguise. I'm not glad that, those Chinese buffets were destroyed or whatever, but thank goodness they were closed that day, because, oh my gosh.
yeah, that
I'd say the
food was good.
Black Back Pub, and what was it? Waterbury? Do you remember? Waterbury, Vermont, I think is what it was.
Yeah, Waterbury, something like that.
Which is also, I think, where the other brewery for Alchemist is, by the way, but that's a sidetrack. But I mean, I know we still got a few more days, so perhaps it might get trumped, but I think that was the best spot, food and beverage wise, hands down, on this whole trip.
Oh, but the food was really creative, and I mean, we had these like roasted Brussels sprouts with cranberries, walnuts, and like a maple drizzle.
Yeah, you're in Vermont. Everything gets a maple drizzle. Let's just do it.
Well, it's true, because we also got the nachos, and the nachos had bacon, blue cheese, and a maple drizzle, and there was something
There's
else.
something else. Were they
Maple-
not chives? Were they chives?
No, I don't.
What were
think
those little
so.
things that will cut up like that? I don't know. But then we
But they were
added
delicious. We added this like kind of braised beef stuff as well.
barbacoa.
Barbacoa, Mexican
I don't know. It was
beef.
that might have been the best nachos I've ever had in my life. It was
They were
phenomenal.
really good.
And then we also got like what was it, like a vegetable?
A Korean pancake,
Yeah,
just like kind
whatever.
of like fried vegetables with this like homemade dipping sauce.
Yeah,
So
that sauce was great too.
so it was great. I was left to order the food while DreZ poured over the menu for
As
about
great as the
20 minutes.
food was, oh my gosh.
The beer
The
menu.
beer menu was phenomenal. So obviously everybody that listens to the show, you know, I'm a big Untapped avid. So I get on Untapped and I start looking down the beer menu and I'm like, oh man, okay, well I have someone I want to have that. And then I try the next beer. Oh yeah, I got to get that one. I every beer on the menu was well over a 4. I think the beer that I ended up getting was a 4.5 on Untapped. And it was the double Citra from Hill. What was it called? Yeah, if only there was an app for me to recall and see. But basically everything on the menu was just phenomenal, man. Oh my gosh. Just scores out
yeah.
the yin yang. So you couldn't lose. No matter what beer you ordered, you couldn't lose. And our server Steve actually said that he got a job there because of the great beer selection. And I guess the guy that calls the shots, you know, just has that high of a standard, which is phenomenal, man. I mean, that's the sort of place that you want to go. And the fact that it's not only a great beer selection, but man, that food was such a high caliber as well. So I can't stress this enough. If you are ever in Vermont, if you're planning on making the brewery pilgrimage to Alchemist or any, I mean, there was a lot of great breweries up there, but if you're ever in Vermont, basically, you need to go to Blackback Pub. That was a standout.
Real good. And the guy was saying as well that the owner that chooses the beer is the big beer nerd.
Mm-hmm.
He actually would not serve anything that wasn't Vermont brewed.
Was it strictly Vermont?
Yes. And then
I mean, I did see that as a theme for sure. I mean, it was all because I mean, and you can't. I mean, there's so much good beer right there.
And he was saying that the distributors like Budweiser or Anheuser-Busch, I think it was, had tried to force him. They were like, well, we're not going to sell you anything if you're not going to serve Budweiser.
I think he said that, you need to put at least like a Lagunitas on tap if you're going to get this. And he's like, no, I don't want that.
Like, no, I don't. There's like so many good beer producers and breweries in the area. He's like, you don't want me to be a customer, that's just fine. So he just blew them off. I was like, good for you.
Yeah, dude, that's great. I mean, yeah, tell the big boys to kiss off. I'm totally fine with that. Absolutely. So yeah, that was definitely the standout for Vermont for me. Over here at the New Hampshire, I know we've already touched on this, but that Back Hill, the one that I had with Huck last time, that was the New Hampshire brewery. That was, even though we didn't actually drink the beer there, I did get a variety 4-pack and all of them were very well received from yours truly. So did we go what else did we do in New Hampshire? I know that one was that was the blueberry spot. We did the blueberry picking and all that.
Blueberry, we got that big ice cream that night from Golix.
Oh god.
We asked for the small ice cream. It was not small.
And I think this is just across the board, wherever you go. I mean, unless you're an ice cream fanatic, always get the small because man, like the medium is still like 5 scoops of freaking ice cream on a cone. It's like, no, I want, if I order a medium or large, it's because I just want a bigger cone. I don't want more ice cream stacked on it. I like the cone. That's my favorite part, is when you get down to that.
We were so sticky after that. I had ice cream dripped all down my trousers.
It was so hot, like always.
Hands.
It's just melting so damn quick. I mean, that's the way it goes.
And our host there, he had the Sam Adams Utopia.
Yeah, I talked about that with Huck. Yeah,
beer.
he was the one that
yeah.
had the Utopias, no doubt. Yeah, that was a good save. But yeah, Vermont was pretty awesome. So I got a couple more bottle caps. We need to pop and tell some more stories. But first things first, and dare I ask, how are you thinking of that beer? I know we usually do the the Untapped scale and all that jazz. I know your handle is sweet ass 77.
Is not ass.
Sweet ass 77, and I'm DreZ Drinks over here. So unfortunately, didn't get any sours.
No
bottle caps. So yeah, you're having to drink a little bit outside of your general repertoire. So how's that brown sitting with you? I'm curious what you think of it.
I mean, I think at
Have-
this point I can actually drink normal beer. So
I've noticed you didn't just
yeah,
take
I
one
did take
sip.
a
I mean,
swig.
you've had it. Yeah,
it's not bad.
you've been working on that a little bit.
It almost tastes like I've discovered another genre of beer that I like. That's not the right style of beer. Being cream ales.
Oh yeah, well, that's
And
not a cream ale.
this is not a cream ale, but it's almost like a little bit
Is
like
it a bit
cream.
sweet or something? Is that why you're getting
It's
that?
just yeah,
thought?
like smooth and doesn't have that like sharp beer taste.
I mean, it's Vermont, so is there maple in it? Perhaps I don't
Oh,
know.
maybe
There's
it
a
has that
brown ale.
sweetness
I
in
don't
it.
know. It could be. What is it? Does it have a description at all? Look at maybe at the upper.
Mountain Ale is a rugged, ruby-colored brown ale featuring pronounced caramel and
Mm.
toffee notes and a moderate bitterness. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
you
that's
get,
it.
get a little sweetness in
You
there.
just put a little bit of sweetie in there and I'm fine.
Yeah. All right. So if you had to give it a rating,
I'm gonna give it a 3.75. That means I wouldn't ever like go out looking for it again, but I didn't dislike
it
it.
also means she's not going to finish the whole beer. But that's also because that's how this show works. You got to give me at least half of it so I can
Exactly.
untap it as well. Now the finest kind, which I don't even know if I said that's what I was drinking. Sorry. Somebody knows finest kind IPA, 6.9%. This one, I got a whole 6-pack of it and they've been going down pretty easy. It's not the best IPA. It's not the worst IPA. It's just a pretty standard, solid go-to. I do really like and appreciate that it's got the camper on there, so it kind of goes with the theme of the trip. And obviously, it's the bottle cap that's up on the map for New Hampshire, so that gives a little way too. But I mean, as for an IPA, just pretty standard, man. I mean, 6.9%. That's a little bit, I guess, maybe perhaps slightly above average. So and the 6.9, you got to like that, right? It's a good beer, solid 4. Solid 4 from yours truly
Nice.
for the finest kind. So we'll take a quick break. We'll play a tune. We'll come back. We'll drink some more beer. You get to pick the tune per usual. You can't pick Blue Stones again. You did that last time. So I'm putting you on the spot. You got to pick a song in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I want to hear some corn for Week on a Leash.
All right, we can do that. We're getting corny on Brewsday Tuesday. We'll pop some more tops here in just a second. Stick around.